Good morning, Midwestern Mages. My name is Broderick Hans, and I would like to welcome all of you to the Minnesota Magic Podcast Show. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Dylan Hotman.
What's up?
And we have a very special guest today. It is our good friend, Blake.
What's up, everybody?
And today we have our long-awaited podcast episode of the Top 20 for Crimson Vow, right?
Yeah, Crimson Vow.
Yeah, there we go, Crimson Vow.
The next Innistrad set.
Yeah.
It looks good. A lot of vampires.
I think this is more powerful than the...
Oh, by far.
Yeah, by far. It's a lot... There's a lot more stronger cards.
Vampires is a way better tribe than wolves or werewolves ever was.
Hey, there's a lot of good wolves in this set, I'll hope you know.
Edgar looks sweet.
I like this Edgar a lot, actually.
Olivia looks sweet.
Everything looks pretty sweet.
Everything looks sweet.
The art's fucking awesome. Sorry, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the one for PG-13. That was the one F-bomb. So sorry, I'll keep it lower. And some pretty sweet reprints like Thalia.
Oh yeah,
reprint Thalia is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got to mention some of the big reprints, and this Thalia is one.
Everybody knows I love Thalia.
I think a lot of us like Thalia.
Everyone knows I love humans.
Splendid Reclamation got a reprint as well with some sick art.
Soren, everybody. Soren,
another new
Planeswalker.
Soren, Chandra.
New Chandra, and what's her name? The black-white one.
Kaya,
yeah, she got a reprint.
Kaya's
Or did she get a reprint? She got a new one.
A new one.
Kaya's Geist Hunter.
Yeah.
Seems weird to have Kaya again, but
even though we just had her call time.
We just had her in call time, yeah.
But she seems to be popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
She seems a little important.
But before we get into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor for the day, and that's our local game store, Game Related, here in Oakdale, Minnesota. If you're looking for any Magic, Pokemon, even sports such as Panini, they got it, along with a myriad of other products, and Ultra Pro and Dragon Shield, and my favorite, Katana, as well. Want to come down, say hi, and as always, stay Game Related.
Get some games
place.
Oh, yeah.
Good place
jam
to come.
some games.
Hey, we're here pretty frequently too. If you ever want to come jam some Commander with us.
Jam some Commander with us, guys.
Commander, Standard, well, we don't. I want to get a Standard going.
Standard.
Don't you mock my
Isn't
Standard?
that what Arena is? That's what Arena's for.
Yes, that's why I play Arena.
Pioneer. These are dead formats. Nobody plays these.
Pioneer's coming back.
They're trying. Watch, he's trying.
We play Modern and Commander. So if you want to play Modern or Commander, come join us.
Oh yeah, but anyways, let's get started. I'll get it started today.
Sure.
Just go down the line and then back and forth. And Blake's going to give us some positive input and maybe throw in a card he likes too.
For sure.
All right. So my number 10 is Howlpack Piper. 3 and a green for a 2/2 human werewolf. She says this spell can't be countered. And for 1 and a green tapper, put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a wolf, werewolf, or wolf or werewolf, untap Wolfpack Howler, activate this ability only at sorcery. So, and she also has Daybound, Nightbound.
Oh, it's just better Elvish Piper.
For wolves.
Yeah, for wolves.
For wolves and werewolves. And she does transform into a Wild Song Howler, 4/4 werewolf, that says whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Wild Song Howler, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them, put that into your hand, and put the rest at the bottom of your library. So it's a good, you put her in transform, you get to look at the top 6, add something to it. It's that other side that I love so much, especially for any werewolf deck out there. She's low enough to where she's pretty good in Standard or Modern. There's not many Modern werewolf decks, but Commander is where this lady shines.
Well, let's change that. Let's make a Modern werewolf deck.
People have tried. It's out there. It's just
who knows. I'm not a big Modern player.
When I played in the Midnight Hunt pre-release event, I thought that werewolf tribe would be awesome. I got Tovolar and everything.
Nice.
It absolutely burned out. There was nothing. You get 4 mana, but it's so restrictive, especially with the new werewolf cards. Because Tovolar is kind of like the best werewolf.
He is the best werewolf.
Yeah.
But in this card would actually make that deck way better because you're putting a lot of werewolves out on the battlefield at once. And you said it.
She untaps if you play a wolf or werewolf.
Yeah, so if you are playing werewolf tribal, you can easily get 3 werewolves out, which is what he needs in order to flip.
You pay, so it's basically Elvish Piper for 1 and green. Tap her, put any creature out, but she untaps if it's a wolf or werewolf. So when
dude, that's broken.
That is. So think of my Tulsimir deck, where a lot of the wolves are 4 and up for a lot of the good ones. But this just cuts that in half, and I can just keep doing it and do it. I can get the 2 werewolves for the price of 1.
Yeah.
And then they fight something?
Yeah. Well, you can actually, if you had a bunch of werewolves, you could actually get more out. Because always Piper doesn't untap, but this one untaps if you're doing wolves.
Yes, this is a strictly just good commander card for any wolf or werewolf deck right now.
Wolf cards, huh?
I think the only issue with it is if it does go to Nightbound, because it's going to be hard to force it to flip back in a way.
Yeah.
You're going to want this one to stay where it's at.
You want this to stay as a but with no, not Talsmere. What's his name?
Tovolar?
Tovolar, yeah. Too many T's for wolves. With Tovolar though, he just says, no, we want Daybound right now. Or you can just.
I thought he
makes it Nightbound.
Oh, he just makes it Nightbound?
Yeah. So his ability is at the beginning of combat.
Gotcha.
Or on your upkeep, if you have 3 wolves out, it just auto turns to Nightbound.
Yeah, I guess in Commander though, I mean, you respond to the trigger and just start dumping them out or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Commander, a lot of people are going to play multiple spells, so it's going to flip back to Nightbound.
Yeah, it does. We've seen that a lot with just Nightbound and Daybound can get flipped so easily on people's turns, so it's not that hard. But this is a good all right, play this, come out, and then just turn werewolf, turn wolf, turn wolf.
Sure.
All right, Tulsimer comes in, switches, you just stamp all over everybody, draw 18 cards, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right, Blake, do you got a little card or anything like that?
I do have a card. I mean, this card definitely is not a powerful card, but is definitely an awesome card.
It's
for the art. It's the Mischievous Cat Geist. So
it's the cat spirit.
It's a cat spirit, 1/1 for 1 and a blue. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and then it has Disturb. So what Disturb says is you can cast from your graveyard, transform for its Disturb cost. And the backside's an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If cat-like curiosity would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it's kind of just like a one-shot, but it's. I mean, the art on it, and you're going to show it on the screen, I'm guessing, but
yeah, definitely.
Is just this cute little cat playing with a ball of yarn.
It's adorable.
And, I mean, 1/1, nothing too crazy. The cost is fine on there. And dealing damage, drawing a card, we've seen that a million times, but...
Yeah.
And then the backside, I like the backside of it, too. It's just this, wizard lady playing with, a glowing yarn, and there's a cat right next to her just, staring at it, am I going to get at that now? But
is this fine? It works.
Yeah, can I play with that? But
it worked pretty good. I mean, it's in blue. You can put that with
blue.
Teferi's Ageless Insight is always a good card.
Yeah.
You draw a card, you're drawing an additional card.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's it's a decent card, but the art on it is awesome, and I think Innistrad has so much fun, cool art that it's just
it fits.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Dylan, what's your number 10?
Definitely wedding related. It's by invitation only. For 3 a white and a white, you have a white sorcery card. It says choose a number between 0 and 13. Each player sacrifices that many creatures. That's awesome.
You had a board wipe on your last list.
I will have a board wipe on every list. Every time they print a board wipe, that's cool.
I mean, that's a good board wipe, though.
It is.
It's so good. I mean, and the thing is that the reason why I think this might be the most powerful board wipe is I actually believe that this might be the most powerful board wipe simply because it gets around
indestructible.
Yeah,
no, it's so
anyone
good.
playing Avacyn.
Unless
for you.
It's not good though when you're playing against Turgid.
It's not good when you're playing against Turgid.
But if you put it in if you have a blue or a black-white deck and
you
somehow get Turgid with that card,
that's a really good card.
You're gonna be
how would that work?
It,
but if they're sacrificing creatures, they all sacrifice all at once, right?
Yes.
So if you sacrifice to the point where they have to sacrifice Turgid to it, then her ability wouldn't trigger.
Yeah. Because she still has to be around to see those things die and get them. Yeah.
So she still has to be on the field in order for her ability to trigger. So if she had 6 or 7 and you said, 13.
I think she still sees it get sacrificed and then the trigger would go on the stack. But I could be wrong. I'm not a rules guru, but for sure. Anyway, it's still an awesome card. Getting around indestructible. We play a lot of people with Avacyn and the
Dark
gods
Steel
and stuff like
and all
that.
Stuff.
It's
good. I
really
saw
good.
that and I'm just like, that's good. That's good cost. Up to 13 is a nice dedicated number 2 because if you're that's in white and usually white has the large amount of tokens as well, so it's like I have 40 some tokens. I can give up 13 to decimate everybody.
I'm always excited about new really powerful cards in white, because white is historically the worst color for
for sure,
for power, for straight power. The card is, or the color has always been not as strong.
They got the good board wipes, so they're a great support color.
Now, so Brody.
No.
Oh, bless you.
Sneezy. Cut that out. All right.
What's card number 3, Brody?
Card number 3 in
was
list.
actually by invitation. What's card number 4?
The next card on our list is Cemetery Prowler. He's a good boy. He's a very good boy.
Yeah.
He is 1 green for a 3/4 wolf. He has vigilance, and I feel like I'm gonna sneeze again.
Does that pause the recording?
That mutes me.
He's just muted right now.
But
he'll edit this out.
Yeah, I'll do what I usually do, where I edit this out.
You guys won't see this.
You won't.
But we love it.
Fuck.
We like seeing Brody sneeze. Fuck.
All right. Whenever this, can't talk today. Whenever Cemetery Prowler enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. So pretty good, and that's pretty good in the current meta for standard with a lot of the disturb stuff. So just pouncing that out. He has more. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each spell type with cards exile with Cemetery Prowler. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not this
spell. Spells you cast. Everything. What's that? You've exiled a sorcery? Sorceries cost less. What's that? You've exiled a creature? Cost 1 less to cast. What's that? You have 4 of these and now all your creature spells cost 4 less to cast? He's a good boy.
As if green needed any more good spells.
Green needs that big reduction. You see some of these creatures, they're big. Actually, a lot of the creatures in this set, those big beasts, they're, I think there's a wolf that's, he's like a 6-drop, he's a common, but it's like 4 green, and it's like, I like that. But no, he's he's good in standard. I could see this actually in modern too, just because it's a good beat stick. Might be a little slow, but he targets.
Maybe for modern. I mean, I don't play modern that well, but I'm not very good at modern. But from what I've seen, I mean, hey, messing with people's graveyards and stuff like that. I don't know if the food decks are still running rampant.
No,
but,
not really.
Oh, well.
But it's good to target a little bit here and there.
Depends on what they're building.
Yeah, but.
Persist is way more popular right now.
Oh yeah, the persist decks to just bring stuff back. So yeah, this can bring
people are putting
stuff
in their graveyards though. If the reanimator's going wild, like just getting it out of there is still really good.
But this is a good powerhouse for standard right now, just because of all the disturb cards and how much a lot of these decks rely on.
And how much? What's the casting cost on that?
1 green.
1 green.
That's a good rate for a 3/4.
Yep, and I can definitely see. Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
With vigilance.
He's a 3/4 with vigilance. That's just good all around. But right now, one of the big decks in standard is just big green.
Yeah.
Where you're playing your Esca's Chariots and you're playing Red and 7, making a giant 8/8 green tree token, copying that. So this just slots right into the mono green right now. But he's just a good card all around. Good for draft. Good for sealed, and good for standard. Maybe some in Pioneer. Maybe some in Historic. But we'll see. You got another honorable mention there?
I got a good one here. Ooh. It's an actually good card. Sigarda's Summons.
Oh, yeah.
An enchantment for 4 white. Creatures you control with a 1/1 counter on them have base power and toughness 4/4, have flying, and are angels in addition to their other types. So, white card, I think this is a really good white card. 6 mana is still a little tough, but to pump your board, I mean, compared to like other anthems that like are 3 mana that just give a 1/1, to basically give +4/+4 flying and becoming an angel, and there's synergies there. It seems so good, especially with the new stuff from the training. 1/1 counters. What was that one card? I can't remember what it was called. From I think it was Core 21. That was just like it was like 1 and a white. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. It's like Basri's something, but
oh yes, I know of the card. I just can't remember the name of it.
Is it Basri's Lieutenant?
No, that one's like when creatures with 1/1 counters on them die, make a 2/2. But still, like, there's so many synergies with 1/1 counters that were in Midnight Hunt and seeing it with Crimson Vow that I feel like that's going to be just like a powerhouse if you have just like a white weenie type deck in Commander. just putting out like soldier tokens. I mean, and it's creatures. It's not just like non-tokens. It's every creature with a counter becomes a 4/4 angel with flying. That's ridiculous. I mean,
bonkers. But like that,
I found it for you. It's Basri's Solidarity.
That's what it is.
For 1 and a white, you're putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
I mean,
and
that's
we'll throw that
so
up on
good.
screen too.
But I mean,
I have to edit these.
Me too.
I mean, could you imagine putting this like in a like red-white goblin deck or something like that? Just like Krenkos out there, and you're just pumping out goblins.
Boros
Play
Goblin
that.
Tribal, everybody.
I'm just thinking. That's how my brain thinks. Is just like
My
weird.
Winota deck.
Oh, for sure.
No,
Just weird synergies
not.
though, like that, just seems
Winota,
so awesome.
Nick.
If you get like a Naya counters type thing, like then you have Drumley the Generous, and it's just like whenever a creature enters the battle, or every creature enters with a 1/1 counter, it
That's a
automatically
4/4 angel.
becomes a 4/4 angel with a counter on it. So it's a 5/5 angel with flying.
That's good.
That's just ridiculous. I mean.
So actually,
that's really
I just
good.
thought of a deck I want to put that in. You know my Shadrick's politician deck,
Yeah.
the black-white dragon that gives
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
Oh, for sure, dude.
So it gives people 1/1
Inklings.
inklings.
2/1 Inklings.
I can give them +1/+1 counters too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Have that out because
Yeah.
technically they're mine. I think if I'm thinking this right, they're technically still mine. So then they just become.
What is the Inkling?
Yeah,
You give it to them? No, it's they control.
Is it?
It's only creatures you control for the enchantment. But
Oh
still,
wow! I thought it could work.
with Shadrick's though, it says you get to put a counter on something or on everything. A counter on everything. So when it attacks, you put a counter on all of your stuff. Again, turn them into 4/4s. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in Strixhaven too with black and white that had a lot of counter stuff. That
Yeah,
I just see this card as like a powerhouse in Commander.
I do too.
So
All the good white cards coming out in Innistrad.
Yeah, actually. What do you got for us, Dylan?
My next card is another white card. Another white enchantment, Hallowed Haunting. For 2 white, you have a white enchantment that says, as long as you control 7 or more enchantments, creatures you control have flying and vigilance. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a white spirit cleric creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control, which goes great with Sigarda summons. You're making spirit tokens that have +1/+1 for each spirit you control, and then you're getting counters on them. And this also finds a perfect home in every Enchantress deck ever.
yeah, dude.
So, all the new enchantment cards that came out in Modern Horizons 2 were amazing. And, even if you think about it, like...
what's her name?
Sithis.
Sithis Harvest Hand. Every time you're playing an enchantment, you're drawing a card. It's absolutely perfect. I mean, and I just think this is going to be a great card. Because Enchantress decks have no problem getting 7 enchantments on the board.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, like those decks are so snowballing where it's like play enchantment, draw, play enchantment, draw. Oh crap! I'm gaining mana off this. Dumps hand. All right, we good?
Absolutely.
Enchantress did not need help, but it definitely that's going to be a card that you're going to find a slot for it in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, I guess it's my turn again. So the next card we have on the list for me, is another wolf. We got so many. Like I complained about last set how I got like maybe 2 or 3 wolves and they were all at like common, and I was so distraught. I'm like, this is Innistrad. It's a werewolf set. Where are the wolves? Why do all these guys work with wolves?
They saved them for the vampires.
Yeah. So I was really hyped for this. So it's Ascendant Pack Leader, single green for a 2/1. So a piker, good. Ascendant Pack Leader enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if you control a permanent with mana value 4 or greater. So, Commander usually, yeah, you do. Comes in down as a 3/2 then. And then he has more. It says, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Ascendant Pack Leader. So, it's good in Commander. You're usually playing stuff with 4 or greater, especially in that wolf deck of mine, because the majority of wolves have are mana value 4 or greater. But in Standard as well, along with that big green deck, this is that good early ramp, and then you play Ren and 7, and then usually, I think Ren and 7's like, 5? Yeah, he's 5 mana. She's 5 mana. You play this, and then you make a tree, enters, get a +1/+1 counter, and it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger.
You know what this card goes great with?
What?
Sigarda Summonings.
Yeah,
Okay, I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't want to say it before it was done.
You sneaky devil, you. No, it does work.
It does. It just makes it a 4/4.
Good with Sigarda's summons.
What's that?
So
A plus
pick
one
up
plus
that
one
card.
synergy? You know what that actually goes great with? That out of the box commander from Midnight Hunt, the not the face one, the guy that says for every +1/+1 counter on him, all your creatures get those many counters as well.
Oh yeah, that one would be pretty
This
sweet
would also
too.
good with Ozolith too, because then you're just
Ozolith?
stock every time one of your +1/+1 creatures are dying, they're just stockpiling.
Guess what? +1/+1 counters work really well.
Yeah,
What's that +1/+1 counters? You say?
doubling season.
I think I'm gonna make an Outlast deck.
Do it.
Outlast with like the ones that's like
See-
everything with a counter has flying, everything with a counter has trample, everything that has a counter is a 4/4 flying angel.
And that is where by invitation only comes into play. See, this is why we're here. We're here to help you guys.
Or lead you down a wrong path. What we think is the correct one, but actually we're wrong because we're not that good.
Buy Sigarda summons. It's a good card.
You got another one?
I got another one. So
Alright.
this one, I think, while Sigarda Summoning was a really good card, I think this one is like a very typical like bad white card. So it's Wedding Announcement, 2 and a white, enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter on Wedding Announcement. If you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn, draw a card. Otherwise, create a 1/1 human creature token. Then, if Wedding Announcement has 3 or more invitation counters, transform it. When it transforms, it becomes Wedding Festivity, another enchantment that is just a anthem effect. Creatures you control get +1/+1.
That's a
lot of text.
What is that?
Jesus.
It's 2 and a white, so it's like not aggressively costed or anything, but that's a lot of words to not do a whole lot.
That's a 3-drop.
It's a 3-drop that takes 3 turns to get an anthem when you could just play Glorious Anthem, which is a 1 white, I'm pretty sure, for just +1/+1. It's so ridiculous of how much you have to do. And then again, like white getting card draw is you have to attack with 2 or more creatures to get 1 card. It feels so unnecessary for how many words were on this card to ultimately just get +1/+1 for your team.
Hey man, it's standard. They gotta make these cards somewhat balanced. What's the best way we can do this? Slow it down. How do we do that? Counters they can't proliferate? He's a genius. Give him a raise.
They were like, we made a really good white card with Sigarda Summonings. Now we need to make a really stupid one. The art on it's pretty cool. I mean,
I do like the art of that, where she's like, oh my god, we're going to a wedding. The guy's
they're so excited. Like they're like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Olivia's getting married.
Who's she getting married to?
Edgar.
Not Soren.
You know what's funny is it's the same people on both pictures.
Yeah, for sure. And then
They're just like they're reacting to their own wedding
and
announcement.
they're at the wedding.
They're
just
like, oh my god, this looks so good.
Innistrad is so boring that the greatest thing that happened is an effing wedding.
Well, they were like, after the Eldrazi invaded, they were like,
Eldrazi.
this is so, we're gonna go back to normal on Innistrad.
It's hilarious because somebody's probably just sitting in the workshop going, oh, Sigarda summons, all these other great white cards, Hallowed Haunting and by invitation only. It's like, wait a minute, this is too strong. We need to dumb it down.
Oh, shoot, white's too strong.
Hey, intern, come here.
Ari, the white guy on the Council of Colors or whatever. I can't remember what his last name is, but it's like he gets to like dictate all of like the white's mechanics and stuff like that. And he was like, "This is gonna be awesome. We're gonna do all this stuff." And then they're like, "We can give them card draw." And then it went to R&D. It went to R&D, and they're like, "We're gonna add like 17 more words to this that make it really hard."
Yeah, we're gonna add 17 words of rule text to this, and it's gonna be a absolute monster.
It's like that happily ever after from Throne of Eldraine.
Yeah.
Like you win the game if you draw a card, have a creature, have all of the lands, go take a walk, bring me back a burger.
Give me lunch.
The other one too.
Get a tattoo.
The other one too was like Garenberg from Throne of Eldraine 2. It was just a brick of text that's walked around. It's like this is a 4/4 creature.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I don't want to pick on white because white is doing things that it's like, okay, that's actually pretty sweet.
I like white.
But anyway.
Next card.
It's on you.
Yeah, I see that. My next card is a zombie tribal card, which I love zombies too. They're so good. Necroduality. For 3 and a blue, you get an enchantment that says, whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Which is perfect with the new precon, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Because the guy, literally every time one of your zombies are on your turn, you sack a zombie and you make a decayed zombie, so you can just sack tokens, make decayed tokens.
That one says non-tokens, so that one... It doesn't work exactly, but still...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But still, it's pretty awesome to have the ability to just, like... I'm going to put out, like, there's, like, zombie overlord or something like that. It's like, zombies cost 1 less, and they get +2/+1. It's like, get that, you get another one, so, like, zombies cost less, and they get +4/+2. That's pretty broken.
This card works great with Grave Titan. Play Grave Titan, you make a copy of Grave Titan, you make 4 zombies.
Grave Titan's not a zombie, it's a giant.
It is a zombie.
No,
it's a zombie
is it a
giant.
zombie giant? I thought it was just a giant.
It's a zombie giant.
Ooh, the internet. Give me a second
Almost
here.
guarantee it's a zombie giant.
Do they have it on the wall?
I don't see it.
No, they don't. Oh, yeah, behind us are just panels and walls.
Sorry, don't mean to, like...
No, we
against
got a
it.
special guest here who can do that for us.
Okay, I can do that. You guys keep talking.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my next card.
No, I'm almost done.
You have more.
Yeah, it's just a great zombie tribal card, I think. It's really just going to go great in every zombie deck. I think it's just an auto-include. Now I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Nope, just a giant.
Just a giant?
Just a giant.
Ooh.
Damn.
I know. It seems like it should be a zombie giant. I mean, its intestines are falling out with creatures.
He's just having a bad day, alright?
I
know.
He's just having a bad day.
But still, that's still such a good zombie card in general. Like, I don't want to like discount it anyway. But
No,
that's
it's
definitely
good.
like zombies got a boost with
They
these
got
two
they got
sets.
a lot of good stuff, but is it as good as this guy right here? It's called Wandering Mind. For 1 red and a blue, you get a 2/1 flying horror. There's more. When Wandering Mind enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in order. So you look, don't reveal, add it to your hand. So right now in Standard, there's a what's it called? Alron's Epiphany deck, or is it Dragons? Yeah. Your look says it all. It's just extra turns after extra turns after extra turns.
Sorry, go ahead.
But basically what the deck does is you foretell into Alron's Epiphany, you run Goldspan Dragon, and that new egg from Midnight Hunt. They call it Is It Dragons too, but they run a card from Strixhaven, which just basically does, it's blue and red. Look at the, like the top 6, and you just add a card to hand. So it's just digging through your deck to get those Alron's Epiphanies. This does the same thing, but it's also a threat. So I could see them like teching this in as well. Maybe like a sideboard, maybe even a main board card. Like take that out, put this in, because it looks 6 deep, and you don't even have to reveal it.
It's a 2/1.
Yeah, he's a 2/1. He's a 2/1 flying. So that works great with that deck
sure.
too, because it's just flyer.
For sure.
What do you got?
Oh, back on to me.
I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna talk more about Cigar de Summons.
Is all the cards just around +1/+1?
It's so okay. Part of the reason is I'm building a new deck, and it's going to be Bruce Tarl, and I'm deciding between Sidar Kondo and Ikra Shadiki.
Okay.
But basically, I'm just trying to like figure out something to do with them, and counters are always like something that I like to play around with. But I'm going to talk about Taurens Fist of Angels. So it's 1 green and a white for a legendary creature, human cleric. It has training, so whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a 1/1 creature on, or a 1/1 counter on this creature. And then whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human soldier creature token with training. So that was a lot of words, but again, it's just another. It was kind of similar to what they had in like Ravnica Allegiance, I think it was, where they had Mentor, where it was like if it attacked with a creature that had lesser power, that creature got a counter.
Yeah, this is the new Mentor.
Yeah, I think it would go sweet with like if you mix with those, because Mentor's going to trigger. It's going to see that one is lower, and then put a counter on it, and then if there's something else, like if you have like 3 creatures that are all kind of different powered, and it kind of goes with that Coven stuff too.
Oh, you're right, it does.
You can like
That's
do,
sure trying to make Coven work.
It's like Coven, Training, and Mentor all kind of correlate with each other, and I feel like you can make something really sweet. And then if you have Bruce Tarl, give it double strike and lifelink, and then it's just like
You just want things. That
I like to throw things on the board and then turn them sideways. That's how I play the game.
You like your battle cruiser magic.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely how I play it. I have some combo, but that's the best way to play, in my opinion. Is put them on the field and swing with them. But I think it's going to be a decent commander, but I think if you find a synergy to throw that into, like how I want to, with something with green white or green white red, something along those lines, or even Abzan, because Abzan has a lot of +1/+1 counter synergies and counter synergies in general, that I feel like this one will slide right into any of those decks.
And Offenza would be good for that, because she just, on a combat, she gives +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, and if you stack the triggers right, you put counters on something, then put counters on him, and then you can just kind of do more counter shenanigans. Throw the Ozolith in there. Just so you know, the Ozolith is a really good card. Save all that.
Ozolith is busted.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that, they are leaning into, making +1/+1 counters really good.
+1/+1 counters is already good.
Yeah, and I think they were like, we can make it even better. And then if you get Coven would be sweet. All those kind of triggers, because if you start manipulating the counters and putting things on there, and the Coven can trigger, then you just get, it's just like added synergy, really. So, but yeah, I think what's his name again? Tovin or something like that.
Too many T's.
I know, Tovin, Tovolar,
Tusky or
Taurens.
Taurens.
Yeah,
there
Taurens.
we go.
Taurens, Fist of Angels. Again, throw it in another Selesnya +1/+1 counter synergy.
All right, Dylan, what do you got for us?
My next card is kind of a twofer. It's one really great card, and then one card that's going to go amazing with it from the same set. So
I'll allow it.
I'm cheating a little bit, but this is definitely going to be my next commander. I'm so excited for this card to come out. It's Henrika Dominathi. For 2 a black and another black, you get a legendary vampire creature, a 1/3 flyer. So, and her ability says at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one that hasn't been chosen. And you get 3 different modes. So you can say mode number 1 is each player sacrifices a creature. And mode number 2 is you draw a card and you lose 1 life. And mode number 3 is you transform Henrika Dominathi. And when she transforms into Henrika Infernal Seer, a 3/4 creature with flying, death touch, and lifelink. And her ability, for 1 a black and a black, each creature you control with flying, death touch, and or lifelink gets +1/+0 until end of turn. I love this card. It's really great. This card is going to be, it's going to end up being almost like a blink tribal deck in mono black.
How do you do that?
I want to keep. The idea is you want to keep her more on your front, on the front side. Conjurer's Closet.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that came to mind. Was
Esper.
Esper would be.
There's
Chef
some
Kit for Blink, but
there's some other good ones, but just the ability to play around a couple of different ones, and you play her. So you play her for 4 mana, and her ability triggers as soon as you go into combat. So you're getting value out of her ability immediately. You don't have to wait a whole turn before you see value out of this commander. So you're able to go around with sacrifice, you can draw cards, and even her transform ability, if you're playing around flying, death touch, lifelink creatures, so keyword tribal, then you have mana sync with Cabal Coffers or Urborg.
Ah yes, the classic blacks.
Then you're able to pump.
I was gonna say, who that would go really well in that I thought of? Alayla, Artful Provocateur.
Ooh.
It's the one, the
fairy
one in an
pre-con.
Esper that, it's like a 2/3 with flying, death touch, and lifelink.
Yep.
And then all your flyers get +2 or +1/+0.
For every
And then artifact or enchantments or something like that, you get to make a fairy.
Yeah. This feels like an Aristocrats deck. And it's going to have, cards like Bitter Blossom in it, Ophiomancer, all the good token generators. And then another card from the set, which is one of my favorite cards from the set, which is Dreadfast Demon. Dreadfast Demon, for 5 black, you get a flyer, and his ability says, at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a non-demon creature. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Dreadfast Demon. So you're making a bunch of 6/6 flyers flyers that also go well with her pump ability, which gives all flying, death touch, and/or lifelink creatures +1/+0 until end of turn.
If you have a way to give +1/+1 counters, it goes great with Sigarda's Blessing.
They don't. And it's not a counter. It's just +1/+0.
I said if you find a way.
If you find a way to
If
get
you
counters, then you
find
can
a
also
way.
make them angels.
No, it's
You
mono
got
black.
angel, demon. Let's just make them changelings and.
The demon too, I think, would go really well, like with like an edict effect. So something like a grave pact, or
Oh yeah, Grave Pact is going to go in here. So yeah, every time you're sacrificing a creature, everyone else sacrifices. So it is going to turn into a sacrifice tribal deck. But I refuse. I refuse to put Tegrid in it. I will
fair.
not put Tegrid in it.
He says this now.
don't put Tegrid, but put Grave Betrayal. It's an enchantment for 5 black that says whenever another creature an opponent's control dies, you get it at the end step, and you get it back, and it's a zombie.
That's not too bad.
So it's 7 mana, and it's an enchantment, and it waits till the end step. It's not like right then, but it's still. I mean,
Isha's Ghoul Caller from the last set, from Midnight Hunt.
She's essentially Tegrid.
she just makes copies of them that have decay.
Yeah, but
Okay, that's
I
more
said
fair.
essentially.
Yes, but yeah, it's that. I mean, we work with Gisa. It would work with that. There's a desecration demon, kind of. But not really.
Henrika Dominathi is my favorite card from the set by far. No question
I
about
thought
it.
you were cheating again. I was
No,
like,
no, absolutely not. No,
Oh, he gets 3 now. All right, we gotta cut him off. All right, I think he's done. All right, let's go to mine now. So, his name is Mirror Hall Mimic. I love this card. I saw this and thought this is just a neat little card. For 3 and a blue, you got a 0/0 spirit that says you may have Mirror Hall Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a spirit and additional to its other types. He has Disturbed, and when you disturb him, it's an enchant creature aura. So I like how they're going with these new enchantment disturb mechanics, so it's not just another spirit. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit and additional other types. If Ghastly Mimic would be put into the graveyard, you exile it. So basically this, you play this, alright, he's a little copy, like Spark Double, clone, like the regulars, dies, you want this enchantment to just copy like something big on your opponent's field. Copy like a Consecrated Sphinx, copy just copy value. This is a really good just card to just copy it. And like it has a downside of when it dies, you don't get that recursion. But that aura enchantment makes up for that completely, where you can just copy something big that your opponent controls, you control, and just gain value. Consecrated Sphinx. Now I'm drawing 4 cards whenever you draw. God, what's that?
of something.
Copy. It's a copy of a creature, so it's not anything. It's just creature.
Okay, because like I have Kaneos and Tiro, and it's like group hug, but it's also just like make crazy big copy tokens of stuff. Or yeah, make copies of get an Inferno Titan out there, get an Essex, and then what's the Avenger of Zendikar, and have 7 lands out there and make 7 Inferno Titans that do 21 damage. And it's just another copy thing. Like it seems like a pretty sweet card, and then having the recursion is really awesome. So yeah,
It is. I like it a lot. You got another one for us, Blake?
yeah. I'm gonna keep going down the train that I'm going down.
Is it more +1/+1 counters? to
It
make
sure is.
Yeah, are you just reading off the cards you want for a commander deck?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Finding
these are.
cards on the
You
go
said
right
you
now.
said pick the favorite cards from the Innistrad set, and I said okay, this is the deck that I want to make. Hamlet Vanguard. So 2 and a green for a human warrior with Ward 2, and it says it's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield. Or enters the battlefield with 2/1/1 counters on it for each other non-token human you control. So it comes in and gets real beefy, real fast,
He's a thick boy.
thick boy, and then instead of being a 1/1, Sigarda Summons makes him a 4/4 Flying Angel.
Makes him a 4/4.
with a bunch of tokens on him.
So wait, he's like he's
counters
a
on him.
4/4 flying Ward 2.
Ward 2 with a bunch of counters. I mean, and Ward 2, I mean, Ward is honestly one of my favorite mechanics that came out of Strixhaven, because I like it better than like Hexproof, because it kind of messes with people more. Hexproof, it's like if you try and target it, it's like, oh wait, you can't, so
You
we have
just
to
ignore it.
backtrack.
You just
But if
ignore
you
it.
ward, then it's like if you want to play spiky, it's like, well, you targeted it. Did you pay the extra 2? And no, you can't. Oh, well, it's countered then.
You just want to be a spike to people where it's because people see hexproof, they ignore it. Ward, they ignore it even more because they forget entirely it has. I'm going to lightning bolt that. Did you pay the extra 2? Do you have a heuristic study? No, it's on him though.
Right.
He is the heuristic study.
So that's pretty sweet. And then the art on him is, I really like it. It like leans into the ward too. So he's just holding 2 shields. Like he's going in and fighting with 2 shields, and he's like, "That's my ward. Is I have 2 shields."
I like that. All right, lads. There's werewolves. There's vampires. The sun ain't coming back up. We gotta go out there. Haynes, you got this. Haynes has a sword and shield. Yep. Reginald, crossbow. Yep.
Hamlet?
I'm good. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna boop him. What do you mean? I'm gonna boop him on the snoot.
He's just in there bashing. So yeah, I really like it.
Deus Ex Fault?
What?
He got it.
Good reference.
Anyway, I'll see if I can find a different card that I was excited about that's not with counters, but we'll move on to Dylan.
You lie.
I'm cheating again.
Stop cheating.
I'm cheating again. 5-way tie this time. I bet you can't guess it.
Is it the lands?
Deathcap Glade.
It's the lands.
Dreamroot Cascade, Shattered Sanctum, Sundown Pass, and Storm Carved Coast. They finished the set. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them.
You're a happy little boy now.
Blue red, red white, white black, blue green, and green black.
Hold on, they didn't finish the cycle.
They did.
No.
They printed the first 5 in
Where's
the
the
last set.
colorless land?
It's Evolving Wilds. They
That doesn't tap for mana.
There's a Plains. Oh, that's not colors. Oh, I guess Voldarin Estate is another new land too, which I thought was really cool. It's a vampire tribal land. Tap for a colorless. Tap, and then you can tap it, pay 1 life, and add a mana for any color to cast a vampire spell, which is awesome. There's a lot of cards that are similar to this.
I like the other art on it. The art that was like the Dracula's castle.
Yes,
that one is pretty neat. I think I can pull it up right here. Castle Dracula.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And then if you pay, you can pay 5 and tap it, create a blood token. This ability costs 1 less to activate free for vampire control. So you could just, if you had a bunch of vampires, you can just every turn just tap and making free blood tokens.
Oh, we didn't even talk about blood tokens yet.
No.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the blood tokens they're like, it's the new food.
I love the token.
You know what I'd really like the blood
I'm sorry,
tokens
I haven't
in?
talked about the token because I actually personally love the new token.
The blood tokens would go really well in Angie Falconwrath.
Oh,
because they discard and draw, so like it's just another way of like a discard outlet. Like if Angie says, like if you has haste and then you can tap her to discard and draw a card, and then if it had madness you untap her. Yeah. So it's just like another synergy with that. Like the blood tokens, you pay 1, discard a card, and draw a card. So it's just like another way to do that.
More fuel for madness. Yeah, and
right.
That kind of becomes sort of a madness vampire deck too.
Yeah, for sure.
But for the other lands, those 5 lands, I seriously recommend picking them up. They're going to be cheap. They're just as good as any dual land that you're going to find. And it comes in untapped if you have 2 lands, which is not hard to do. It's just great, cheap mana fixing for your deck, and it can go in every deck. And you should be running multiples in these. You should be running all. If you have 3 color decks or 4 color decks, you should be running multiples.
You really love these lands.
I like cheap mana bases, because if there's one thing I have struggle with when it comes to looking at the prices for new commander decks, it's the first thing I look at is the mana base. It's how much am I spending on fetches and triomes and dual lands and all this stuff. And I don't actually have any true dual lands. I don't think I'll ever own any true dual lands, but I will. I enjoy finding neat new utility lands, especially like Castle Dracula or Voldarin Estate. These cards just bring more life to the game and bring way more uniqueness to it. It's just, I'm running vampires. I ran this card because it is just that good.
That's at that point too. That land just becomes a tap pay 2. Was blood 1 or 2? No. The blood token, the sacrifice. It's 1. Yeah. So at this point, it's just like tap a land, pay 1, sack it, and then rummage. Yeah. So I like that. I guess we're going to the halfway point now because we're at my 5th card. It is Dream Shackle Geist. So another spirit.
Your 5th card, then we've all done 5. So that's 15.
Something like that. I don't know. I ain't keeping track.
I was supposed to be just like
We've made him
an honorable mention, but I feel like I've actually had some good
all of his are
points.
honorable mentions.
Cigar to summons cards are good. Looked like we're trying to go for something.
Yeah. All right. But anyways, Dream Shackle Geist. For 1 blue flying at the beginning of your combat on your turn, choose up to 1. Tap target creature. Target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. This is a mean card, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's on ETB. It's beginning of combat.
Beginning of combat, so you can just keep doing it over and over and over again. It's also it's a 3/1 flyer for 3, so that's good rate. And a lot of my cards usually are for standard and stuff like that, but. You know how control decks are kind of coming up in Modern right now?
Yes.
I can see this as a good card for that deck, really, just to keep kind of suppressing stuff down. Or especially because you want against Ragavan swings, like they just hard cast Ragavan. Swing that Ragavan. Nope, that monkey and I'm tapping. Keep that thing tapped down.
Yeah.
But it's just a simple card who he does a good job. He'll be good in Standard. He'll be good. I think he's going to be good in a lot of formats.
I can definitely see it in Standard doing some work. Modern, maybe. Those Ragavan decks that I've dealt with, I haven't played much, but playing against it, it's like, if you don't stop it fast, you're just behind. And if you have to wait till turn 3, maybe turn 2 to get out a 3/1 flyer, you're kind of like, you might be too behind, because Modern is
good
becoming.
news for you. Have you ever heard of a little card called Chalice of the Void?
I guess yes.
Plays Chalice of the Void in Commander, right?
No, not Commander.
Not Commander, in Modern.
Oh,
I'm talking about Modern. Well, CDH plays Chalice of the Void.
Oh yeah.
We're not talking about CDs. We're talking about Battle Cruiser.
We've been talking about Cigar to summons a Bruce Tarl the whole game. Come on.
You leave my CDH
If
alone,
ever there
right?
was a Battle Cruiser commander, Bruce Tarl is it.
You were just talking about how you wanted to be a spike with your ward. You need to come with that CDH.
That's when I'm playing Modern or when I'm playing Standard. All right, so I'm going to get away from the green, white, and I'm going to go into...
Is it still +1/+1 counters?
It's not.
Oh,
It's another zombie
something
card.
different.
It'll be a zombie card, and I don't know what it's going to necessarily be great in other than just a zombie tribal, but it's still... so Skull Scab. It's blue and black for a 2/2 zombie with exploit. So exploit says when this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. Whenever a creature you control exploits a non-token creature, create a 2/2 black zombie. So I just find it good synergy, and like if you're doing a lot of graveyard shenanigans type stuff, where you can keep getting stuff in and out, it's just a cheap card, 2/2 for 2, and that is going to hopefully make you another 2/2. And if you're doing like the decayed stuff, it can't block anyway, and it's going to die after it attacked, and all this kind of stuff. So, I guess that has to be a non-token, but I feel like you can deal a lot with like the exploit triggers and like the death triggers and stuff like that. Like I don't know if it would kind of go in with that demon that's going to make more demons. And, I don't know. See, now I'm getting away from the cards that I've been wanting, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain it that well. But no, I think it's still, I still think it's a decent card. And if you're doing a lot of graveyard shenanigans, you take things in and out, and just like back and forth, and I think it's just a decent zombie card.
It's a good card. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Definitely one of my favorite cards from this set. Maniform Hellkite. Big red dragon, because Innistrad has to have dragons too, guys. 2 red for a flying 4/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Exile that token at the beginning of the next end step. And the train just keeps on rolling with instants and sorcery cards. The first card that I think of that works amazing with this is Shark Typhoon.
Yeah.
Literally just an enchantment that you're making flying sharks and flying dragons.
So you want to know what I think of when I hear this card? You two don't play Standard like I do. I think Alron's effing Epiphany.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
man. More is a dragon.
Yes. No. Completely. Oh, thank you. I've just been handed a free
foil mana crypt masterpiece.
Thank you. I've always wanted.
Let's take a peek.
No, that's mine now. All right. Anyways, with the podcast now. I can't get it out. Here you go.
Let's take a peek.
Yeah.
Is this yours?
No.
Is this just for the store?
Yes.
Oh,
man.
So if you're
That
looking
is
for a
pretty.
Masterpiece Soul Ring coming down to Game of
Mana Crypt.
Mana Crypt.
If you want to kill yourself faster,
$1,200, people.
Hey, someone has it out there. Someone watching.
yeah, for sure.
God, that's a nice one.
It's beautiful.
That is definitely near mid.
No, but that's
a gorgeous
that
card.
dragon scares me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That I also like. There's a lot of storm decks. There's a lot more spell slinging out there as well. And remember during the last top 20 where I was talking about the is it spell slinging deck, where I get to see that in the future of Standard, where because Strixhaven has a lot more spell slinging.
Yeah.
Innistrad has added to that with a lot more cheap one-drop spells.
Yeah.
Now with that dragon, that just gives you a force to just hit like a train.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite cards from the last top 20 that we did,
I mean, if we're bringing that up, was an Is It spellcaster. He was a commander, and he revolved around making non-creature spells cost less. Instants of sorceries cost
You know
less
what
every
he
time you're
also
flipping
revolves
from day
around?
to night.
+1/+1 counters.
Sigarda's summons.
Yes.
We're finding all of it out today here.
We're playing
folks.
Jess Guy.
No, the big YouTubers ain't got nothing on us. Sigarda's summons.
They have a lot on us.
I can say it with impunity.
All right, let's get to the next card here. It's a blue spell. I'm on a blue train here for a while. I actually like this spell. It's with the new mechanic Cleave. And those who don't know, I'll just read over Cleave. It's Cleave. Well, it's Wash Away. It's for 1 blue, and it says counter target spell in bracket that wasn't cast from your owner's hand this turn. It has Cleave for 1 blue. You may cast a spell for its Cleave cost. If you do, remove the words in square bracket. So basically, every Cleave card has a square bracket starting at a part of the sentence to the end. If you pay its Cleave cost, ignore everything in those brackets. So they have like a tutor, a kill spell. This in Commander is simply just a 1 blue. I'm gonna play my Commander. No, you're not. I love it. Yeah. Look at that.
Dude, that card's
Wow.
nasty.
It is.
Oh, I'm the spike. Just kidding.
We know who this is for.
Timmy.
I can't. Hey, don't say his name.
Oh, sorry.
It's so
If
mean.
you say his name 3 times, he comes out of nowhere and plays
It rhymes
Hey,
with
who's that
Jimmy.
pulling into the driveway?
a Ristic Study immediately. No, but I like this card. It's just a clean, simple, just good 1-drop counter spell.
It wouldn't matter if
for
he played
Commander.
against Timmy. He plays that card Markov only now. His Eminence would still
who,
trigger.
Who needs to play Commander when you have Marco? But no, it's a good card. It's just a beautiful blue card.
Well, speaking of Edgar, we could just talk about the new Edgar, since you just talked about it.
yeah.
We could talk about that new Edgar.
The new Edgar, I think, I mean,
I don't like him.
okay.
what?
The old Edgar was like so.
He still is.
It's
He's
such a
busted.
good card. It's such a busted card.
Eminence is broken. Make more.
Well, I like my cat Eminence.
Oh, Arabo's perfectly fine. That beautiful magistrate of a cat is fine.
And I have Ur-Dragon, so, you know.
I also have a dragon. That was my first commander deck. But the new Edgar is pretty sweet. Edgar Charmed Groom, 2 white and black, legendary vampire noble. Other vampires get +1/+1. When he dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. The other side is Edgar Markov's Coffin. It's a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white and black vampire creature token with lifelink and put a bloodline counter on Edgar Markov's Coffin. Then, if there are 3 or more bloodline counters, remove those counters and transform it back. So it gets around, like if you make that your commander, it kind of gets around commander tax because he never really leaves the battlefield. He's always just
Is
there.
this commander tax?
So he's like, oh, I kill your commander. It's like, okay, cool. Well, now I'm gonna get another vampire, and then I'm gonna eventually come back and do that. And it's so much more fair than the other Edgar, because the other Edgar is just like, I play a 1/1 vampire, I get a 1/1 vampire. I play a 1/1 vampire, I get a 1/1 vampire, and now I have 15 vampires. Oh wait, Edgar's gonna come out, give them all pumped, and now it's just like, and then they all get counters when they attack. So then you put Cigar to Summons in your vampire deck, which seems a little weird. But then it's all of a sudden it's like, all my vampires are 4/4 flying.
This creature's that could fly before can now fly again.
But still, like Edgar is just the old Edgar is.
And the stone
so
just
broken.
keeps on rolling.
But this new Edgar, I feel like that would be one that I'm a lot more on board
Willing
with
to play.
and willing to play because I feel like it's not so much feel bads. Like
The one gripe I have with this card, I love it as a new Edgar. I love it as a much more balanced Edgar. I just wish he had red.
Yeah,
because
that's exactly what I was going to say.
That's the one thing that old Edgar does is he gets every
type of vampire.
I wish he was just a one generic and then Mardu.
Right.
He would just be so much more fun.
Or if he just had a red casting cost to give.
But yeah, just Orzhov Vampire is just not as exciting as Mardu Vampire. Mardu Vampire is so good.
We already have Elenda of the Dusk Rose. She's a perfect
Orzhov
Vampire Commander. Yes.
Well, this would kind of go well in that one, though.
Oh, it would go
It's like Edgar
great
dies,
with
Edgar
that.
flips, Edgar, get a counter, get Cigar to. I'm just kidding.
You
Anyway.
could say Blake has summoning sickness.
That's a good one. I like that.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm gonna pick up that card. Anyway, but yeah, so
But yeah, no, he's good.
yeah, I think he's decent. I mean, he's not broken, which is something that I appreciate. I don't care that it's like a little bit lower. I mean, I play Battle Cruiser, so
But yeah. For Battle Cruiser,
yeah,
it's
just
slow.
like a nice. It's better than the wedding invitation or whatever it was. The
Wedding invitation.
The one that says has an entire novel written on it to just say draw a card and then get an anthem. This is just a better anthem that just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
Oh, yeah. So my last card, Laid to Rest. 3 and a green. Probably didn't think this one was coming, but humans. Gonna come out. You get a green enchantment. Says whenever a human you control dies, draw a card. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. Cigar to Summons. It always comes back to Cigar to
full
Summons.
circle.
They were like, we have one lane that we're gonna go down, and it's gonna be +1/+1 counters. We're gonna make it great. Everything else is gonna get mediocre cards.
Yeah, and Cigar to Summons, I mean, just going back to it, I mean, that's just an auto-include in that pre-con that they just came out with Midnight Hunt, which was a white-green humans deck that just gave out a bunch of +1/+1 counters.
I want to buy that and work on that and just...
That deck
It doesn't need much.
That deck is absurd. All you have to do is put in Doubling Season in that deck, and it is overpowered as hell.
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Be more creative.
Doubling, I didn't build it. I didn't build it. Hey, I didn't build it.
Craw Giant, guys.
Nuts. Doubling Season in Ozlith.
That makes no sense with
That
that.
deck is absurd.
All right.
But no, yeah, Laid to Rest. Human players, put it in your deck. You're already putting +1/+1 counters in your guys. You want to gain life. Creatures you're putting on the +1/+1 counters, they're going to die. You're going to gain life. You're drawing cards. It's basically everything a human's deck wants to.
Protection, not protection, but at least
Insurance.
synergy of like, okay, cool, you killed all my stuff, but I'm gonna gain all that life back, and then you Aetherflux Reservoir their face.
Yeah, and right now I'm working on a 5-color. And right now I'm working on 5-color human tribal. It's a long shot.
For Modern or for Commander?
Commander for Garth. I just basically decided Garth is going to be the helm of this, and it's going to be 5-color toolbox
What?
humans.
You're not going with the best Commander of all time for Tribal?
No.
What? No, I was going to say Child of Alara.
No.
That would go great with that card because all the things have counters. Child of Alara dies, it wipes the rest of the board.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Chromium.
Oh, you mean Chromat? Chromium's the Elder Dragon. Chromat is the one that's just like a nothing. It just has a bunch of abilities.
He has a bunch of wacky abilities.
It's a Garth 5-color toolbox human deck.
I mean, it should be Morphon, but that's also kind of boring in a way. But
I don't like Morphon as a commander simply because it's just I have a tribe and it's got 5 colors in it. It's just like
tribal. You said you wanted to make humans a whatever.
yeah, with Garth.
Okay,
All
that's
right,
fair.
let's get the next card. Or else we're gonna be really cute Dylan all day. All right. Next card on my list is Cemetery Gatekeeper for 1 and a red. You got a 2/1 vampire first strike. Good cost. I like this. Whenever Cemetery Gatekeeper enters the battlefield, exile a card from the graveyard, so he's in that cycle. Oh yeah, there's a cycle of those guys. Whenever they're just cheap, they enter and they get rid of something off the bat in the graveyard.
The cemetery, whatever.
Yeah.
The wolf.
I think they're all like cemetery something in their name or something like that.
Cool.
But whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, Cemetery Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player. You guys remember?
That seems sweet and standard.
Yeah, you guys remember Rampaging Ferocidon?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is non-legendary, by the way.
Oh yeah. Ain't that something?
Yeah. So you just get that exile just a bunch of creatures or a land until they play a land drop and they take 8 damage.
That's pretty sweet.
I'm a Magical Christmas Land, by the way. I hope you come and visit me sometime. It's beautiful this time of year.
You know what this is going to go in?
If
Like
you-
Kaneos and Kaneos and Tiro for this one because I like to make a lot of copy tokens and like I'll do a lot of like Rampaging
This is your way
Ferocidon
of doing
shenanigans.
damage. Yeah, this is your way of doing damage.
Yeah, without actually having to attack. That's really sweet.
It says whenever a player, so you just play this, exile it, you go to your end step with Tyrus and Taro.
Oh,
People
that's
play
great.
their lands.
Because you play the land. Oh, that's so good. That's definitely. I gotta write that one down.
That card is supposed to, in Modern, actually, it's almost as good as Eidolon.
It is actually, yeah.
I was doing a little research on that card. It's almost as good as Eidolon. Like, you can almost switch it. But Eidolon is just so...
He's more consistent.
It's so consistent with Eidolon. Because you're exiling cards, yes, and they're taking damage, yes, but then they can play around it. So the thing is that, especially in Modern, all of the decks you're playing against are low CMC, like 3 or less. That's like the
You
base.
want to know what I want? So you know that Mardu Prison deck I've been working on, right?
Yes.
I want to throw this in there and use one of them to get rid of a Ragavan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so whenever they play those Ragavans, they're dealing 2 to themselves.
Or Bobble.
Wow.
Target Bobble. That's like that. When I looked at this card, that was the
That's
first thing
gonna
that came
shut
to
down
mind.
Luris decks and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that'll.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you see
Probably
Luris, it's
for
like
Amateur.
that's getting sideboarded.
No, I see a Luris. I just like I'm going to bolt this. I'll waste all my burn on that thing.
Yeah.
You don't even really need to. I mean, you just Searing Blaze it and you do the same effect.
But all right, you got another honorable mention with a +1/+1 counter that goes great with Sigurd.
This is like a commander idea that I want to do. That's like a Rule 0 type conversation. It's for Grolnok, the Omnivore. It's 2 green and
Big frog.
2 green and blue for a 3/3 frog, legendary frog. Whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from the library, exile it with a croak counter. You may play lands and cast spells from among those cards you own in exile with a croak counter on them. So what I want to partner it with its brother, which is the Gitrog.
Yeah, no, I wish this had a black casting cost.
That would be so sweet. But if like the playgroups cool with it, putting Gitrog and Grolnok together
As a partnered pair.
That so I've actually had that idea for a while, like
and not do combo because I don't like the
You just want to have a
Gitrog
good-
combo. I just want like a fun.
you just want the 2 brothers to be together.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually something I've been thinking about for a video for us, is taking legendary creatures that don't have partner and partner them together. So you know my clue deck, right? Mm-hmm. And what is it? There's that. The Stranger Things. That's the show. Wow, I was really struggling on it. There's the black-white creature card from there that makes clues for everybody. Mm-hmm. And if they don't get a clue, they take a damage. I want to partner those 2 and make a 4-color deck with that. That'd be something we do where we take like cards that don't have partner and partner together.
Right.
But we don't make like this is a partner pair that's broken as heck, or like Gishath with Sakama as partners.
That'd be super fun.
So,
Yeah, right?
So it's interesting how good these 2 would be as a partnered pair if we Rule 0'd it. So Gitrog monsters upkeep, you're sacrificing a land. Mm-hmm. As soon as that's sacrificed, it goes to exile with a croak counter on it, and because of Gitrog
when it's
permanents.
When it's milled.
Yeah, whenever a permanent card is put into a graveyard from your library, exile with a croak counter on it.
From your library.
From your library. So Gitrog, it wouldn't matter because that one's going to be from the battlefield. But it's still play additional lands. All the times you are attacking with them, you'll mill 3. It's like a lands deck. You mill a bunch of lands, and then you get to draw cards off Gitrog. It would just be like another Sultai type of like value engine, but it's just kind of like
every Sultai
I want them together, but I don't want to
make a bad Sultai deck. What?
We've both made Sultai decks. I mean, we've both made Tassiger. My first deck was Damia's Age of Stone. And
I think one of my favorite decks that I had first built was Yarok the Desecrated.
And that's another great card.
And it was like, this is... Like, it became boring to me because it was just like, I'm just going to value the heck out of this table.
That's how I felt. I felt the same way.
That's pretty much anything with blue-green.
Yeah.
I felt the same way because I started with Damia and then transitioned it to Muldrotha Gravetide deck. And just thought it just ended up being the same combos over and over again, and I just never thought it was that exciting.
Yeah.
So, I think Sultai value engines are really fun if that's really what you're interested in, but I feel like at a point you see the same cards over and over again, it's not as exciting.
But either way, I think this is still like a really cool, even if it doesn't get partnered with the Gitrog monster, I think it's really cool still. Going like Changeling Tribal because there's not many frogs.
Oh, there's actually quite a bit of frogs, actually.
Are there really?
Yeah, they all do graveyard stuff. A lot of them do graveyard stuff as well. But you can play the greatest frog of all time.
The Concord or whatever.
Spore Frog.
Spore Frog.
Spore Frog.
The Spore Frog.
Best
and then
frog ever.
there was the one card from the last...
Fog Frog.
But it was like, make a copy of something except it's a 1/1 frog. I can't remember what it was called. But
It was the one from the last set.
yeah, the last set, but it's
The
like...
duck one.
I thought that was from Modern Horizons 2.
No, it's from the Innistrad set.
Pretty sure it was from Innistrad. Because it had Innistrad art and it like had like a little hat on and it was really fun art. But still like doing that kind of stuff and doing Orvar shenanigans and milling your deck and doing just having like a secondary hand is really powerful, and especially if we're doing Simic stuff. Simic already does Simic, so yeah. That's all I got on that one.
Last card
For you?
I think. I don't know. I don't know what our count is, but
I have two
we
more,
lost track. But we're just gonna keep going. This is no longer a top 20 list. It's just whatever the hell
This is
we
top
want.
30. We're going big.
We're going
favorite
big, go home.
cards.
We're going to go through every single card.
I'm going with the card that I thought was the most unique from this set.
A card that I'd never seen in any set prior to it. Toxrill the Corrosive. For 5 black, you get a legendary slug horror,
which is a
You're a slug
7/7.
whore.
It's a 7/7 Dimir commander. It's so odd. It says at the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a black slime counter dies, create a 1/1 slug. That's awesome.
It's something.
And then you can pay blue and a black and sacrifice a slug and draw a card.
So every time a creature comes out on the end step, you're just putting a bunch of slugs out there, and then if you're playing something like, I don't know, Board Wipe Tribal, where you make basically Toxrill essentially indestructible, and you just sit there and go, dead. This would go great with, it is Dimir, but if in a sacrifice deck, this would go great as a commander. So you're just sitting there making all of your opponents sacrifice all the creatures they have slug counters on, and then you just sacrificing all your slugs, and you're just card engine just starts. It's not broken by any means because it's 7 mana, like until you break it.
It's not broken until you break it.
All right, I got it.
It's a good card though.
I'm going to need a Grave Pack, a Necropotence, a Tear Grid.
No worries.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I need.
Hit that betrayed.
It is Dimir.
I had to betray. Hey, that's 12 mana though.
No worries if you find
Hey, all right.
Black.
Anything with Annihilator on it.
Yeah. All right. Next card. I have a Cemetery Protector.
I know.
It's a human, Dylan.
Uh-oh. Humans.
Humans. So it is 2 white for a 3/4 flash. When Cemetery Protector enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. It's part of that cemetery cycle. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell that shares the card type that you exiled, you create a 1/1 white human creature. So it's just good. You exile. You exile land almost every time with this thing, because that's something you're always going to hit. But I can see this in just a Selesnya white humans deck, just as a way of value. You ramp out, play your humans, boom, you have board.
Put counters on all of them. Turn them into angels.
Yeah, well, with like one, so you play this, you play this, you have about 4 mana. Next turn you are ramping. You're playing like one of the big for necessity's sake or convenience, play Skyshroud Clan that gets 2 force into play on tap. That's 2 1/1 humans. You're in Selesnya. If you're a tokens deck, you got that doubling season, parallel lives, and the white one that doubles tokens as well. But
Noisy Procession?
Anointed Procession, yeah. But it just like with 1 land, you can just make a bunch if you just have a lot of these double tokens out and stuff like that. But it's
what was his name? Freya or something like that in Kaldheim. That was like a white and green one. That said whenever you play a land, make a 1/1 human warrior, and all your warriors get +1/+1.
I think it's like all humans. It's all humans or all creatures that share a type get a +1/+1 or something like that. But it goes right with that.
That'd be pretty sweet too.
No, a lot of the cemetery cards are good in this set.
Yeah, for sure.
They all they come and they exile something, and then you just get bonuses whenever those cards are played.
Nice.
You got another one?
I got my last one. Part of it is I think it's a decent card, but also the art on it is super crazy. So it's Cobbled Lancer. So it's a single blue for a 3/3 zombie horse, which is what? Zombie horse tribal. Here we go.
No.
Blink horse tribal.
Stop.
As an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature card from your graveyard. So that's really not that bad of a rate at all for 1 blue and exile a creature card for a 3/3. I feel like that's going to do some work. And for a zombie, that's going to do some work in standard with the zombie tribal deck. I feel like honestly it could even do some work in modern in a way. I mean, I don't know, but and then it also has an ability on it where it's 3 and a blue, exile cobbled Lancer from your graveyard, and then draw a card. So it's like you're getting a 3/3 for 1 single mana, and then just gonna beat down, and then when later down the line you get some card advantage off of them.
Good utility.
Good utility, and blue with relevant creature type being horse. I was kidding, but being zombie, but still, I think it's
yes, the relevant creature type. Horse.
And I don't know where you're going to put the art, but you got to show the art on this one because it looks like what?
All of the art?
I mean, on this card specifically, you need to see the art on this because
they'll see it.
It doesn't look like a horse. I'm wondering if it was like from Geralf, because Geralf is like a stitcher, and so like he put like a weird. It's like a horse, but it also has a torso. It's not like a centaur, but it's like also has a horse head.
It's more spooky than anything.
It's like, what is this? What did they do with this creature?
Someone got bored on Innistrad.
Yeah.
Because they have the
stitchers.
Yeah, the stitchers. They're making scabs. They're just like
I know,
humans are boring.
This is just weird. It's like they had to cut the horse head off, then attach a torso, and then put the horse head back on the torso, and it still has 4. It's just weird, man. It's got 6. It's got 2 arms and 4 legs.
Typically,
it's like a centaur, yeah, but centaur with a zombie. I don't know. Crazy card. I think it's decent. Moving on.
My last card is kind of cheating.
You've said this is your last card 4 cards in a row.
I know. Well, I don't know when my last card is. It's whenever you cut the video. That's when the last card is. I just keep saying it's my last card because I expect it to be the last card. My last card is. It's a little bit cheating because it's not from the set. It's from one of the cards from one of the commander decks. It's a little cheating, but I figure we can't
Finish off this set about a wedding without talking about Wedding Ring, because Wedding Ring was actually a pretty good card. So for 2 white, you get an artifact that says, when Wedding Ring enters battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. It's fantastic. I mean, I just think that's like, if I'm playing in white and I play it, I just immediately target the person who's drawing all the cards or the immediate person that's gaining all the life. So, you're playing Bruce Tarl. I'm going to target you, and every time you're attacking me with a 30/30 creature and you're gaining that much life, well, so am I.
Yeah, it goes. There's a Psychic Possession, which is kind of similar. It's an enchantment that you pick an opponent, and then whenever that you skip your draw step, but whenever the opponent draws, you draw. So then this seems cool that you could like do politics, and then also like some of those like secret rendezvous card where it's like you and opponent draw three cards. And it's like, okay, well they drew 3 cards, so now I'm gonna draw 6. So you draw 6 cards. It makes actual like
that goes in my politics deck. That goes
white,
in my Shedrick deck. Yeah,
a good white card draw like ability is like you force them to draw, but then you. Yeah, I mean, you still give them cards, but I mean, you're getting 6 compared to their 3 for 3 mana. You have to have the enchantment or the artifact out.
And the person that plays Consecrated Sphinx. I mean, this card, it's just my Consecrated Sphinx, really.
Yeah, for sure. And
you leave my Sphinx out of this.
Hey, it's good. I really like this card, and fitting because it's,
I think it's super good.
That only comes with a precon, by the way.
Yes, no, I know, I've specified that, but which is unfortunate, but it's a great card. Pick up the precons. Precons are really good. This set's precons are amazing.
The precons that were in the last one, the Midnight Hunt, both were really good. I mean, I put $50 worth of cards into the zombie deck, and it's still like
churns.
Oh, it's good.
It's got an engine on it. So
all right, so this is my last card. These are finally the last cards, Dylan.
Hey, I don't know.
I gotta come up with another one.
So we have to find
we can just do it like
you finish us off, Brody.
All right, I'll finish this off. All right, so the last card we're gonna do today is because we've done at least close to 30 at this point, I believe. Is it's the new Chandra. I like this Chandra. It's Chandra Dressed to Kill. For 1 red. You have a 3 loyalty Planeswalker Chandra. +1 is add 1 red mana. Chandra Dressed to Kill deals 1 damage to up to 1 target player or planeswalker. Exile the top card +1. Exile the top card of your library. If it's a red, you may cast it this turn. So you get to cast it for free. Okay. Yeah, you get to cast it for free. Impulsive draw. Yeah, impulsive draw. And then -7, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast red spells from among them this turn. You get the emblem where whenever you cast a red spell, this emblem deals X damage to any target where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. The reason I like this is because I've been really finicky and testing around with this Mardu Modern Prison deck, and what that is basically is it's kind of like Death and Taxes where you want to slow your opponent down, but the red is basically there for the burn. That's how you kill your opponent. This is a good way because I'm running that one Chandra that gives the opponent the emblem where they take a damage every turn. This is another good way. It's cheaper, and I like this a lot better because it gives me that impulsive draw as well.
This seems like like you were saying about your prison deck. This seems like an excellent Chandra to add to Panza. Panza players would love this card because they're already playing a lot of 1 mana cards.
Panza is basically red-green Blood Moon deck.
Oh, okay.
So they're playing the new Goblin that makes Jund, the new Jund Ignoble Hierarch. Ignoble Hierarch, Arbor Elf. It runs Renin 6. It runs all of the good red, and it's a lot of Chandras too. So
sure.
The big 4 mana Chandra with the 4 loyalty abilities is in there. And your goal is to get Blood Moon out on turn 2 and just stomp your opponents from there. You're playing red planeswalkers, you're playing, and it's a lot of basics. I think the big mana ramp cards for them are the enchantments that go on your lands, because then you're untapping your force.
Yeah, like Fertile Ground and all that other stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Utopia Sprawl.
Utopia Sprawl is the big one. So you play Utopia Sprawl on your forest, you name red, and then you're using Arbor Elf to tap and untap all your forests to make 4 mana with 1 land. So with that, you're able to cast a lot of good stuff. And Chandra is an amazing card because it's coming up for 3, and then you can immediately make a red mana for it. And then you're dealing damage to up to a target player or planeswalker. So you can just say, I'll play this for 3 mana, I'll gain a mana, lightning bolt you, and then deal 1 damage to you anyway.
I've dealt 4 damage to you for 4. You're on curve with that mana right there.
It's such a good. That is a really strong planeswalker, and I'm excited to see where they go with this.
I'm going to throw it in my Mardu.
Honestly, almost feels like it would be an interesting card that you could even add in a burn deck.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
3 mana is a lot. 3 mana is a lot.
Yeah.
And I play burn in Modern, like religiously. And you're paying 3 mana, you're getting a mana.
Lightning Bolt.
Well, I'm thinking more like Goblin Guide or Monastery Swiftspear. So you have extra mana, you're just like, all right, I'll play a Chandra, and then I'll play a body to block. It's like, I think that would
She
be
hits
good.
those Teferis too.
She does a Teferi. But, Teferi's not like the worst matchup for burn, so I don't know if I would. Maybe she'd go in there. I'll definitely be playing around with that card to see if it would be a good fit.
Yeah.
It might start out as a sideboard card. So.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. Once again, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Game Related here in Oakdale. Once again, if you have any need for any Magic, Pokemon, or sports, I highly, highly recommend coming here. Great people, great shot. They have a huge selection. I'd also like to give a special thank to our friend Blake here for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It was a lot of fun, and I hope I gave some good input on Sigarda's summoning.
We'll have you back on again. The next one that has in a few years when Sigarda summons get reprinted.
when I buy out the stock and then all of a sudden it just goes
It's
up
a
and
$400 card. Once he looks at these, how did this happen? Blake pops up with a Crown Minister Sigarda summons. But
yeah, definitely.
Leave a like, leave a comment. Please
tell us what your
like and
top cards are.
subscribe. Yeah, leave in the comments what your favorite cards are.
Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you think Sigarda's Aid will be the best card of this entire set?
Do you think we make bad content? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, that, without a doubt we do.
Yeah, we try.
We try.
We're
But
new at this, so.
yeah, thank you for watching. But my name's Brody. This is Blake. That's Dylan. This has been the Minnesota Magic Podcast. Thank you and goodbye.